has come to clean the crawl space. Really not looking forward to this, but someone's got to do it, and I don't want to pay a contractor to do it because their quote was $20,000 just to encapsulate the crawl space. So I can't imagine what it costs to clean the whole thing out. And that's an easy job-ish, other than getting filthy and possibly exposing yourself to asbestos and stuff. But I'm gonna wear a respirator. I got my first ever Tyvek suit, and I'm gonna wear gloves. I got a light, I got a GoPro, so let's get down there and check it out. Okay, gloves, respirator, Tyvek suit. I got a trash bag, a light, some plastic bags for asbestos samples, an extra battery in there. You know what time it is. It's crawl space time. Okay, so as you can probably see, there's a bunch of junk in here, and there's stuff like just random pieces of wood, random pieces of old cardboard junk, like this board over here. This crawl space is just filled with stuff, so I need to just start clearing all this stuff out. There's a bunch of bricks, so I'm gonna fit as much as I can in my garbage bag here. We'll see how quick that fills up. Probably just gonna start throwing stuff outside the hatch here as well. But yeah, time to get started. Okay, so this is our first crawl space trash haul. Doesn't look like a ton, but trust me, it's hard won down there. Another basketball. Don't know why. Found a shovel, and there's a pick here as well. There we go. There's a pick, and it's so rusted that there's just sheets of metal coming off of it, basically. So anyway, probably have a few more of these cleaning sessions to go till it's fairly clean down there, and then after that we'll probably remove the old vapor barrier, and still kind of undecided on whether or not I want to do the vapor barrier install myself, ourselves, or whether we're going to hire someone to do it, because it is very difficult to get around down there. So we'll see. All right, well, it is the morning of March 25th, and it is very cold in the house. And it is cold in the house because our furnace is not working. Yeah, that's a problem. So I have checked the breaker boxes and the fuse panels, and nothing is blown or broken over there. So I've put in an email to the HVAC guy who first helped us service our furnace when we moved in. So hopefully he'll be able to come out and give us a hand with this. But we also have another problem. We had a guy out during the week last week to do an asbestos abatement inspection in the crawl space for some tape we found down there. And he pointed out that one of our air ducts is full of water. So that's also a problem. So yeah, today I'm gonna don the the good old coveralls and go down into the crawl space and number one, see if I can figure out why that air duct is full of water and what might be filling it. And then number two, try to drain it. So yeah, this is gonna be an awesome weekend. Okay, step one complete, which is locate the problem. This air duct, this is full of water. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is cut a hole in the top of this and then suck out the water with the wet dry vac, and hopefully it doesn't fill up my little vacuum here because it's going to be hard to get the water actually out of here, but give it a shot and see what happens. So at this point, I was expecting water to be filling up the vacuum, that's what I'm checking for here, but nothing was happening. It seemed like the inside of the vent was actually completely dry. There was definitely still water in there somewhere, so I decided to take the bucket off of the vacuum and poke a hole in the bottom of the vent. And as you can see here, it definitely worked. So it turns out that the vent on the inside was dry, but the 2-inch foam insulation around it was totally waterlogged. At this point, I decided to head upstairs and see if I could figure out where this was coming from. Okay, so the pipe, or the vent that goes into the crawl space that was full of water is this one, and this is the vent pipe that goes up into the finished attic to provide heat up there. So I'm still not sure exactly what's going on here. These PVC pipes, there's that one, then there's another one up there. Those don't go anywhere, they just end in here. But I think this one up there is actually the one that was connected to the roof, so I'm not sure if maybe that was draining water in here and maybe that was getting onto the ducting and that was somehow getting absorbed into the insulation, but that's my best guess. It also does run up into or right next to the water heater here, and if you can see there is a pipe that feeds the water heater that is directly against the black plastic outer wrapping of this thing, but I touched it all up here and it doesn't seem like it's waterlogged at all, even down here at the bottom, so I'm really not sure what's going on. Okay, so I think we have a possible culprit here. I'm still kind of confused as to how this whole thing happened, but there is this uncapped PVC pipe right up there. It just goes through the floor and kind of into that weird awkward space behind my desk, and it doesn't connect to anything. I think it may have been an old dryer vent or something, but it definitely is not capped properly. It's just got this screen on the end, and I'm guessing that water may be coming in from there. So I'm gonna go up there and cover it with some plastic. I'm not gonna put a proper PVC cap on it or anything because honestly it's just gonna come out eventually. So I'm just gonna cover it up for now and make sure that no new water is coming in. Okay, got my plastic in my pocket, got my tape, time to go up there. So honestly, I don't love the fact that I have to get on this roof, and I should probably have some sort of protection for falling off, because this is pretty steep, but I'm just gonna test it out and see how it feels up here. If it feels super sketchy, I might avoid this, but if it feels okay, I'll go for it. Oh yeah, this feels pretty terrible, honestly. Gotta say, this feels pretty bad. Okay, that should do it. And now I just have to get back down. Back over to my ladder. Feeling okay now, actually. There we go. Oh man. Whew. I'm very happy to be back on this ladder and not on the ground in a way that I didn't want to be. Okay, so I guess same strategy as before. Do the switcheroo here. 48.33 millimeters. 48.33. Looks like the gutters are still doing well. So I got one of these mushroom cap things. It looks pretty cool. You just tighten down these screws here over the top. This should be really simple. Just tighten these down until they make contact. But that should be good. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. All right.
Okay, future Andy here. It's been a few weeks since I capped that pipe, and it's definitely rained a few times since then. And I've also been back down there to check the waterlogged duct, and it does seem like it's drying out. So I'm going to call that a win for now, and let's move on.
There's a few blockers down there that we need to take care of before things can be insulated and a new vapor barrier can be put down. The thing that I'm going to work on today is there's a beam that was put in, probably to support like a sagging floor or squeaky floor, and the post that they use to support the beam is just sitting straight in the dirt, and that's a problem for the vapor barrier because when they put in the new vapor barrier, the plastic can't be sealed around a piece of wood because the wood, if it's sitting against the dirt, is just going to wick moisture up past the vapor barrier and into the crawl space, which defeats the point of the vapor barrier. So I need to replace the footing for that post, actually put it on concrete, and I'm actually going to put in a jack post, which allows you to raise it incrementally over time if it needs to and you need to level the floor out a little bit. And to do that, I've got a new toy here. It is an SDS hammer drill. And the nice thing about this drill is that it's got drill mode, hammer drill mode, and just hammer mode. So basically it's like a little jackhammer, and I got this spade bit on there that can help in digging. So this is going to come in handy in more than just this one application. There's another thing I need to do down there that's also going to help with, but we'll talk about that one later. All right, so let's get down there and dig a hole for concrete. Okay, post footing poured. That was actually a lot easier than I thought. I'm pleasantly surprised. The soil was super easy to dig into. It's a little moist down there, frighteningly, but I guess one benefit of that is that it does make it super easy to dig. There were no giant rocks that I ran into or anything, so I actually didn't even have to use the hammer drill and chisel bit that much, but that's okay because they're still going to come in handy for something else, for sure. So there's this giant rock, I would even venture to call it a boulder, and it's definitely too big to fit out of either of the crawl space hatches, so the only option is to break it up into pieces and then try to move those pieces out. So my strategy here is drill a bunch of holes in it with this drill bit, and then I will switch over to this chisel bit here and try to break it up if needed. And once I have it in at least 2 pieces, I'll try to drag it out of one of the hatches, and that'll be that. Let's get started. Drill is pretty awesome, but man does it chew through batteries. I got 1 full depth hole out of this 4 amp hour battery.
After the concrete had cured, I could get down there and install the jack post. First step was to just get everything set up, temporarily tighten it up against the top, check for level, tighten the nuts on the sides, check for level again, and start drilling the holes for the Tapcons. Tapcons were super easy to use. I was kind of surprised actually. Just drill the holes, blow them out with some compressed air, and use an impact driver to send them home. Secure the top with some lag screws. It was probably overkill honestly to do all 4 like this, but better safe than sorry. Finally, I could do the final tightening, and it was time to remove the old post. Success. The last thing to do was just remove the form tube, and I was done. And that is it for Crawlspace Part 1. There's definitely still some stuff to do down there before we can have the insulation put up in the floor and have the new vapor barrier installed, but this has gone on long enough and those jobs aren't done yet, so I will see you in the next one.